thanks for stopping by to watch this video. This video, I'm going to show you how I painted a river scene in gouache. Now, I did this study in a toned Hahnemuhel sketchbook, and I painted this study in gouache. So I'm doing a gouache study prior to moving up to a bigger painting in oil. I found it really fun and great value to do studies in gouache before going to oil. They do turn out different in the end, but there's a great lesson in doing it that I am finding is a very valuable tool leading into my oils. And I'm really enjoying the creative process of it as well. So I'm going to take you through painting this scene in gouache. And if you enjoy it, then you'll see the link at the end where you can go watch this same scene painted in oils. If you're new to my channel, I'm Linda Glover Gouache. Welcome into my studio. I'm a painter, teacher, creator of the online school masterfulpainting.com, and I just like hanging out with you and sharing the different things that I'm learning while I'm working. So I hope you find this inspirational. I hope you find value in it. And hey, if you do, thumbs up it, share it. Share it with a friend that you know would like to watch a demonstration in gouache. And don't forget to subscribe too while you're at it. All right, let's move on to the video and watch this lesson. Working in a Hahnemuhel toned sketchbook, I've been pretty happy with it just for doing these sketches. I also have done a black and white value sketch with my Dick Blick studio markers. And then I've used a neutral color washi tape. You can get that at your art store. I will leave information and links to my supplies underneath, underneath this video. So I just drew on my elements. Now I am using a round brush. I'm not sure why I just didn't use my flat brush, but I think I just wasn't sure where I was really going to go with this dappled light and forest look. So I was finding my way, so to speak. And I actually used 3 greens in my gouache set, all Winsor Newton. You do not have to have that many colors. You can use a real basic palette. But I'll list the greens in the bottom of the video here. But I warmed them up with earth tones as well, with some raw sienna, a little bit of yellow ochre, to change those temperatures and also values, a little bit of indigo blue into the greens and a little bit of red. You know that red is a neutralizer or a complement, so it's going to tone that down, keep it looking more earthy. Now with gouache, you can get soft edges by coming back over a painted area with just a moist brush. There's no paint on my brush right now. It's just a clean, moist brush that I'm knocking back the edges because I want to get some softness. I'm just trying to develop a feeling of a bunch of leaves and stuff back there. Going a little bit darker, and that's by adding some indigo blue. I do not have black. Lighting is important when you want to create that backlit forest feeling. So I just put more white into the permanent green light and ochre mixtures. Now that's yellow ochre mixed into the permanent green light that I'm using there. I just like to work with color, but again, I'm going to stress you don't have to have all the colors that I have. You can get by with your basic 3, red, blue, and yellow and white. I'm building the area in front of the backlit area, just working my way forward. There is a pretty green called olive green that I do like to use, and I'm also using viridian green. So I've got 3 greens in there, and that beautiful warm tone right there is pulling raw sienna into some of those greens. So I use an olive green, a permanent green light, and viridian green. I just like them. I could mix green with blue and yellow, but I just like to have my tubes. One thing is I do know how to mix. So that's a factor that is very important, and it's something that I want to push, is to tell you to learn how to mix, learn your color wheel. Then you can pick and choose, buy whatever tubes you want, but do know how to mix. Now I'm making a black there. Like I told you, I don't have black, but that's ultramarine blue deep. I'm sorry, it's ultramarine blue, Winsor Newton, and some red, and a little bit of indigo in it. I'm sorry I said ultramarine blue deep. See, I get my oils and my gouache mixed up once in a while. If you follow me, you know I love ultramarine blue deep and oils, but we're not talking about oils today. Linda has to stay on track with the gouache. So I'm just developing some of those trees back there, using that exact same dark to come down and build the darks of those rocks and just start forming some shapes. Just want shapes. And dark along the river's edge back there where the bank comes down into the water. Just keep putting in more tree trunks. Now I'm just really using that same dark just to kind of establish my water. And again, you can see I don't paint in thin transparent layers with gouache. I paint with a thicker paint. Now there will be times when I'll go back and cover it with something for whatever reason. You know, your values are different. Your lights dry darker and your darks dry lighter with gouache. So that's a little bit of a learning curve that your eye has to start adjusting to. And you know, you just might have to go back and paint something lighter if it dried too dark. But what I'm doing here is just getting a buffet of beautiful color notes. That's all I want to do in this foreground, is just to get beautiful color notes and build something pleasing to the eye. Now I do have a gray in my palette. I'll list it down in the supply list at the bottom of the video as well. I used a little bit of the gray mixed into some red and blue, just varying it, and it's picking up little bits of green as well. I want to bring a little bit of a violet in there. I want some color harmony with all the yellows. I think color harmony. I think across the color wheel. That's why I tell you to learn your color wheel. I started coming back there now with a little bit of white and some cobalt blue. I use 3 blues. I have a cobalt blue, an ultramarine blue, and an indigo blue. Again, you only need 1 blue. But I'm experimenting with these different colors, so I know what they do and I know what I like. So right now, maybe I have a little bit more loaded palette. Maybe as time goes on, I'll drop one. I don't know. But again, you know, I've just started this journey into gouache. I'm just having a blast with it. I'm having so much fun. So I'm experimenting. I'm doing it the way I want to do it. Getting some accent darks in the water up close. Pretty much using this round brush through the whole painting. This one Princeton brush. I'll list it in the details for you as well. And you might find if you get too busy, then you go back and knock something back. Boy, the beauty of gouache is it dries so fast. I do love that about gouache. It's fun to have the complete opposite of oils. If you follow my oils, you know I love to paint wet into wet. When I'm painting clouds, like I like everything wet. So this is the total opposite. Everything dries so fast. And I do think that's one thing I really enjoy about it. So that's my dark again, just a red and blue. making a beautiful deep dark black. I would guess I would be okay with owning a black, but I don't necessarily need it, because look at this black I can make. It's a beautiful color. And if I want it more woodsy looking, like redwoods, then use more red. If I want it really deep dark, then go more blue. I'm just picking my way through this, trying to figure out what will work. What do I like? Redesigning the edges of those rocks a little bit. I guess that's a boulder, not a rock. So I think watching this, it shows you that there's a lot of designing elements that can change in the painting as you're working on it. And that's okay. I am a firm believer in not trying to be a copycat of my photo exactly. I don't have any fun doing that. I want the opportunity to be free to design how I want to design, leave something out, add something. I want that to be my preference of choosing. That's that artistic license that we have to be able to make that choice. Pushing the darks back in again. It's a push and pull, getting it to where you want it. Again, some of that has to do with probably the way the values change when they dry. And rocks are not an easy subject. So I'm trying to get the look that I want. That one rock on the left in this image, you can see that it's kind of covered up by the bush. So it's a little hard to see the form. Now I'm coming in with the foam. And that's not white, that had a little bit of blue. Now you see me going back in there with just a wet brush, softening some of those edges. And when I say wet, it's not dripping wet. It just barely had any water. It was moist. I am using a smaller brush here. I grabbed a smaller brush out of my jar, and I don't think that there's really any name on this. It's just a smaller. A cheapie brush. Who knows? Maybe I copped it out of my grandkids' brush holder. Now I'm going a little bit brighter, more white. The other was just a shade of blue toned, so it wasn't a bright white. Now I'm jumping up there, working back into the back forest area. A little bit of foliage over the fronts of those tree trunks. Really just a mixture of those greens, white, if I need to lighten them. Where I want it cooler, that's where my Viridian green plays in nicely. The olive green leans a little more warm. The permanent green light is an intense light. I liken it to my oil color that I use from Grumbacher, which is a phthalo yellow green. I do feel a relationship between painting in gouache and painting in oils. I do really recognize some of my traits that come from painting in oils. I'm recognizing some of it in the gouache. Now that color right there, that's the permanent green light. But you wouldn't want to use it everywhere or overdo it because it's a pretty intense green. Then I've added white to it that's made this lighter green. I kind of feel like that lighter green is a beautiful touch when you're in very lush forests. All right, so I get close to wrapping this up. I ended up doing a little more details that did not get filmed. I apologize for that. There are times you'll forget to turn the camera on. A little bit of yellow ochre building some of those bushes, and then the final picture, you'll see a little bit more of that. So I hope that that was helpful. It was fun. Okay, my friend, I hope you enjoyed that and found it valuable. That was a fun painting to paint. Now, I also did it in oil, like I told you. This is a 13 by 15 oil that I did of this very same scene. If you'd like to watch me paint this exact scene in oils, I have a demonstration showing this 13 by 15 oil that I painted. You can sit back and watch that as well. I'm going to link it down in the description, and you'll also find it here on the screen. Go check it out. All right, my friend, I really want to thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. And remember, keep practicing, have fun, and happy painting.